And as someone who is currently in university, I'm in my second year studying exercise science, hoping to do a specialization in athletic therapy. When I was applying to universities and my peers around me were, still very unsure of what they wanted to do, I want to say even at that time, I knew that university wasn't really, in my opinion, the right path for them. I don't think you should pay, especially to those going to the US, I don't think you should have to pay 40,000 US dollars just to get a basic business degree where you're learning from a professor who has never opened his own business. All he's doing is essentially just teaching you random theories and formulas that aren't applicable in our current world. And so I had that view about those degrees and like gender studies, all these all these degrees which I think are a bit of a waste of time with for no better way to put it. But I thought, okay, physiotherapy, exercise science, law, medicine, these are respectable degrees where you need to go to university to practice these. So surely, the curriculum they've set up at these universities is up to date, and it's they're going to give you a good education that when you graduate you will be able to be a good practicing athletic therapist or be a good practicing physiotherapist. And it came at a bit of a shock that that's not the case, and it's really up to me if I want to be the best physio in the world or if I want to be the best athletic therapist in the world. Then I essentially can't rely on university. I have to do all my research on the side, which I have been doing to a certain extent from a young age because I've always been passionate about the human body and especially how it relates to athletics. But just a quick story. So I don't know if you know my study habits. You were never really involved in school. I don't think I ever got one question from you about my grades. Never. And we all the joke of the family is that when my sister went to university, when Faye went to university, I think she was there for a year. I think someone came up to you and like asked you what she's studying. And I don't even think or before, it was before she was applying or something like that. And you didn't even know. You always gave us this freedom with school. And I think we did a good job in upholding our responsibilities. Although I may think that, the system has failed, I think it's pointless to be in the system and complain. So I think you need to figure out a way to, if you're in the system, okay, how do I beat the system? How do I extract the most value out of it? So for me, I'm just seeking to get my license so I can practice. So anyways, if you know my study habits, but I'm taking a course now, which is an introduction to exercise science. It's just a basic first year course. And I read through the syllabus. Just I wanted to see what was the class about. So this was in the first week. And it seemed pretty interesting. It was, talking about VO2 max. How do we calculate your VO2 max using open circuit spirometry on a treadmill, which is just when you see people hooked up to that thing, that's what it is. Or how do we estimate it from a sub VO2 max? So now they're using regression equations because it's expensive to use all these expensive equipment like the open circuit spirometry. And so it's not feasible for the general public to figure out their VO2 max. But you can get a pretty good idea of it from, let's say, getting them on a treadmill and using like the speed on their treadmill and their heart rate, for example, to estimate their VO2 max. So I thought, okay, this course seems really interesting. I'm actually going to learn some cool, useful things. And so I went to class for the first week. Seemed pretty interesting. And I'm sitting in the lecture and I'm expecting the professor at least to give some sort of introduction to the class. Here's a general overview of the class and here's why this content is important for you. Like everyone in the room is studying kinesiology or exercise science. We all want to practice in the field, and it's a specialized program. So I was expecting some sort of introduction of along the lines of, I've worked a career as an exercise scientist for 20 years, and here's how the information that I'm going to give you is going to apply in your future career. And I think that would have, given us the motivation to actually want to learn the content, because we would see how it's applicable. But I'm not even kidding. I walk into the class, it's the first week. Usually the first week they don't even do anything. They just read the syllabus and it's known as a joke. I get into class and and I was late as always, which I am to class. He just has the first slide open and he just starts reading off the slide, and like no introduction, nothing whatsoever. And it was basically like everyone's already panicking, taking notes, because we're like, okay, everything that's coming out of his mouth, I need to memorize, even if it's completely irrelevant to how it's gonna help us. We have to sit down and write it down. And I'm just looking around, the state of people, like so anxious, writing down everything he's saying, his family history, and I was like, okay, this is a complete joke. So I stopped going to class for 3 to 4 weeks. And like you, I have a good memory. And I also think I have a slightly photographic memory. So I trust my ability to study 3 days before the exam and still get a good grade. So I opened this was yesterday, I opened my computer and he's basically posted this thing where he has everything that you need to memorize for the test. Like all the specific questions, and I'm not even kidding, it was a Word document that was maybe 50 pages long with one line questions. And to give you an example of just how irrelevant some of the questions were, it was memorize. It was, you need to know for it's a multiple choice exam. So we're not even testing our ability to use this knowledge and, let's say write something about it. No, it's just a multiple choice. You need to memorize the top 10 causes of death in the US and Canada from 2019 up until now. So each year you need to know what was number 7. Like was it a stroke that was the cause of this number 7 cause of death in the US, or was it lower respiratory disease? And I was just thinking, that's so pointless. Like if I ever need to use that data, which I can't really see myself doing, why can't I just have the tables in front of me? I had this table in front of me and I'm memorizing it for what, if I can just have the table in front of me when I need it? So yeah, that was a bit of a tangent, but it's honestly frustrating that this is what universities come to.